In 2006, the Huddersfield Giants reached the Challenge Cup final at Twickenham, another sign that the club was on the move.
There were some encouraging signs, and certainly the Challenge Cup final experience, I think, for everyone, particularly the people that had worked at the club for such a long time without much glory, really. I thought that, it could be a catalyst for us the following season, and we made some really good signings in the off-season, and we're really looking forward to coming into a new year, as you do. You're always full of excitement, full of, dreams, I suppose, of what your team could achieve and what they could do.
Talking about last season, we made the Challenge Cup final, which was an outstanding achievement for a club like us. Seeing a club like us, that's what everyone else perceives us as. We really felt positive, that we can certainly kick on.
We were really pleased to get to the Challenge Cup final. It was important as a team that we moved on from there. I mean, obviously, if you can get a good run in the cup, it's brilliant. But ideally, getting to the playoffs is always a big goal at the beginning of the season.
Our goal was definitely to make the top 6 this year. So a lot of positives to take from last season.
We'd recruited well over the last couple of years, and we're building a strong side, a physical side.
We'd strengthened our squad again with some really good Australians, Kiwi, some up-and-coming British talent as well.
I just felt that we needed to help Earl Crabtree the year before. We'd lost Jim Gannon early on in the year, and Earl had to shoulder a lot of responsibility, and I felt that he needed a little bit of help. He probably needed a cornerstone in the pack, someone who wasn't a fancy Dan type player, but a really solid front row with lots of experience. And we brought in John Skandalis for that role, and over the year he's proved a superb buy for us and did all the things we wanted. And added to that, Darryl Griffin, another big, rough, tough front rower, to add a bit of presence to the pack, and the making of the pack, in particular size-wise, and the front rows was really exciting. Along with that, Ryan Hudson brought in after a couple of years out of the game. The front row in particular looked strong. Again, another couple of West Tigers boys were brought in, Jamal Alessi and Shane Elford, who's had successful careers in the NRL and came across to England and fitted in really nicely to the group that we had.
The future was looking bright, and all the boys trained really well in the off-season, and we're really looking forward to it.
The Giants could not have had a tougher start. Their opening fixture saw them take on 2006 double winners St Helens. The game brought forward from round 3 because of Saints' involvement in the World Club Challenge.
Even before the game, the fact that the game was brought forward a week, and we'd basically had a week shaved off which is already a very short pre-season. We'd lost a week, and we came up against the St Helens team that were probably already hitting the straps. Obviously they wanted to hit the ground running because they were playing in the World Club in a couple of weeks' time. So we came up against a really good Saints side that day, and I thought we acquitted ourselves really well. And I know that we don't like getting beat, but the performances are the next best thing we look at, and I thought in that game defensively we looked really strong against the best attacking team in the land.
Cunningham waits at dummy half again for the Saints, 10 metres away, scampering little run, great ball to James Graham, important tackle that one by Stephen Wild, and Cunningham has got St Helens to within 1.5 metres of the Huddersfield post. Back it comes to Sean Long, quick hands then to Leon Price, more hands, and a first try, and it's Lee Gilmore. There's Roby once again. Graham, short ball to Long. Back from Long it goes to Roby, and Roby has found the gap, and he's got Graham alongside him. And Roby stands but takes the tackle in the end. Important tackle from Chris Thorman too. This now is Cunningham attacking the line, another punishing run, another penalty. No, it's a penalty going to St Helens. Penalty to St Helens for offside.
Well, I was like you, Eddie. I thought perhaps the official, Ashley Klein, had given against St Helens, but he didn't run across the man who was the dummy runner. He's got it right as the official.
Saints not interested in the 2, looking for 4 and the 6 possibly. This is James Graham. Graham to Kieran Cunningham. Back it comes to Long. Long, great ball. Wonderful try. Leon Price. Fantastic try. That's St Helens. This is Leon Price.
Great run.
Leon Price still.
Brilliant stuff.
And he just used the referee as a shield, didn't he then? Quick play of the ball. It's Long. It's over the top. It's Aidy Gardner. It's another St Helens try. Ashley Klein gives the try. Ashley Klein was involved in the move for that as well, because I'm sure that the St Helens player used him as a bit of a shield, Ashley Klein. But picked by Aidy Gardner. The ball is just flung back and is picked up by Kevin Brown. And Brown will take them on. That's a strong, robust run from Kevin Brown. Long was all over him. Matt Gardner, the dummy half. Here is Chris Nero. Goes through with one challenge of Cunningham. Can't get away from the next two. Kalis and Bennett. Drew will come down the short side. It's Brown taking the responsibility himself. Oh, great ball! And that is a try for Matt Gardner. And the referee, Ashley Klein, hasn't given it. He just wants to have a look at the grounding, I think he said. We can't go to the screens for forward passes,
No.
but they can go to look at the grounding.
That's all right. That's all right. 2 thumbs.
Just about.
Well, this is a massive year, Kevin Brown, isn't it? I hope he gets a run at standoff and really shows what he can do. He's shown his promise in the last few years. There's the first and important try there now for Huddersfield to get some confidence back into this giant side.
Sean Long was screaming that it was a forward pass. Looked all right from that angle. Oh, that is tremendous. That is what they needed.
Ball scope up, but loose forward, Jason Hooper. It's Cunningham trying to get away from Crabtree. Crabtree wouldn't be dissuaded from making the tackle, with help from Griffin and Jackson too.
Watch for the inside pass.
Crabtree's arm was trapped underneath Kieran Cunningham then. This is Kalis. Kalis dumps the ball back. Oh, fantastic Gilmore!
Great stuff.
Superb try for St Helens. Champion stuff.
We viewed it as an ideal opportunity to show the rugby league public what we'd been doing in the off season, and how far we'd come from the previous season. And I guess overall we showed them that we'd made some improvements. Still plenty to come, because we were playing against probably the best team in the world. And overall the performance was pretty good. We didn't get the result we wanted, but performance was good.
After that narrow defeat, the Giants made the short trip to Bradford, where they took the lead in the 10th minute through Jamal Lalace's first try in Super League. Bradford hit back with 2 tries of their own. But 6 minutes into the second half, the Giants were ahead again when Stuart Jones won the race to Brad Drew's astute kick, much to the anger of Bulls fans stationed near the camera. It was a lead they clung on to until the closing stages, when Glenn Morrison finally crossed to give the Bulls an 18-14 victory. It had always promised to be an extremely tough start, and that's the way it was turning out. It's never easy coming up against newly promoted sides early on in the campaign, and Hull KR were no exception to the rule, winning another desperately close game 17-10 at the Gal Farm. And that was followed by yet another nail-biter against the Leeds Rhinos. The Giants had been well beaten by 50 points in a pre-season warm-up at Headingley, but right from the hooter, this was a close competitive affair, with an Earl Crabtree try giving them the lead midway through the first half. Then, after the Rhinos had hit back to establish a 16-8 advantage after the break, the Giants staged a brave fight back with Chris Thorman crossing to reduce the deficit to just 4 points. They hammered away at the line late on, but the Rhinos just held on. Two more tries from Thorman weren't quite enough to give the Giants their first victory of the season at home to Hull FC, a game that resulted in another 4-point defeat. And it was even closer over in France, where Les Catalan Dragons edged them out by a single point. Both sides scored 4 tries, but Stacey Jones' field goal proved decisive. The Giants' tries came from Chris Nero, Ryan Hudson, Stuart Jones and Stephen Wild. Take a look at those now and listen to the French equivalent of Eddie and Steve-O.
C'est Alexian à 6 minutes de la mi-temps, donc il n'y a pas d'affolement sur le banc.
Moi je m'affole un peu, Hervé, je m'affole un peu là parce que là ça va être un essai. Aïe 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 aïe.
Moment d'arrêt donc.
Attention, attention Louis, sur l'extérieur là. Oh oui, magnifique. Oh magnifique, même si le ballon a pu être passé, il faut lui couper la trajectoire sur l'extérieur. C'est un essai marqué en tout cas en coureur. Aïe 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 aïe. Aïe 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 aïe.
C'est un truc.
Aïe aïe aïe, le coup de pied de Wild. Aïe 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 aïe, le rebond, c'est pas possible. C'est pas possible. C'est pas possible. C'est pas possible. C'est pas possible.
A home game against Salford in round 7 was a chance to end the losing run, but despite dominating for long periods, the Giants went down to their 7th successive defeat. So after 7 rounds, the table made unhappy reading. But Giants fans could take consolation in the fact that in those 7 games, the biggest losing margin was only 7 points. In fact, the Giants had a better points difference than Hull KR in 7th.
To have a run of 7 matches was incredibly disappointing. But then again, the losses were so they were so close.
We were playing well and we were only 1 point, 2 point, maybe 4 points off some of the best teams in the competition, and we knew that we just had to stay strong. We had to trust each other. My players had to trust the coach, and myself trusting my players as well. And one of the interesting things is we didn't change things.
We didn't have to change a lot. You know, defensively, I think we had the second best defence in the comp at that point, which is not to be sniffed at. You know, it's statistically impossible to go through a whole season without getting a win if you have the second best defence in the whole competition.
You know, we didn't carve the team up from one week to the next. Blokes were playing pretty good. We got some blokes in real good form and others that weren't far off, and we knew that maybe just sticking together another week and believing in ourselves and staying strong to my philosophies, we'd crack it.
We near enough matched them, you know, pound for pound every time we went on the field. We were so close to beating Leeds, you know, probably should have won it in the last minute. We were beating Bradford for 75 minutes until they scored right at the death. Hull FC, you know, really close games. And performance-wise, we were right on the money. You know, I don't know what you put it down to. You know, I don't know if it's fate or luck or what, but we just didn't have any. We didn't have any at the time. We just couldn't get over that white line, for that one more time to get us that W next to the fixture.
Around that time, I vividly remember OKR chipping away and coming up with some really good results as well, and Wakefield picking up some good scalps. So it wasn't all the pressure of not winning a game at the start of the year, which I think magnifies it anyway. But the fact that the teams around us were getting some really important scalps.
We thought that if we finished that first half dozen or so of matches with 3 wins, we'd have done well, and I guess 2 wins would have been our minimum expectation. So yes, it was a disappointment to be looking up at the whole of the Super League after 7 matches.
We sort of all stuck together as a team, and I don't think you can listen too much to what the press have to say. I mean, you've got to sort of stick with doing your job, because obviously that's what you get paid for. You don't get paid to listen to what the papers say. So yeah, we knew where we were at and what we had to do.
Our concern was to support John and to help him get the team in the right frame of mind. John clearly knew what he had to do, and as all can see, he got on with the job.
Myself in particular, I thought I copped a fair amount of flack, and you know, that's my job. I stood up and I defended my players and I defended my team and my actions, and you know, the decisions that I took I believe I'm accountable to, and I stood up and I led from the front, and that's what makes me really proud. The fact that, you know, we weren't going so good as in regards to winning, but we weren't far off in regards to performance. But the key element was we stuck together. No one broke ranks. The players were nice and tight. The coaching staff, as always, were brilliant. Were really strong and very supportive, and as were the board. And you know, I think it galvanised us more than anything. I think looking back now over the year, I think the 7 games and the losses certainly had a big influence on how we carried on for the rest of the year. We became a tighter group. We were always got on anyway. We were a group that enjoyed being around each other, and even though the losses were accruing, we stayed strong and we had some belief, and we believed that the win was just around the corner.
Though it was tough, and it was tough for everybody, we all stuck together because we all knew it was the right thing to do. The preparation that had gone in, as I said earlier, was really contributing to the way the team was binding together, and we knew the results would come as soon as we got that first win under our belt.
The Carnegie Challenge Cup, which had been so good to the Giants in 2006, gave them the chance to turn things round. And they did so in style, running in 13 tries as the York City Knights were put to the sword.
The York game saw everything come together, and I think emotionally players growing, and confidence within the team started to ebb out of every pore in that group. And we were super that day, and we had a really positive review. The boys were really excited about how they played, and everything just seemed to click.
No disrespect to York, you know, we did it against them. Their defence wasn't as good as Super League defences, and it was sort of a shot in the arm that we really needed. And you know, just to score a few points was a real confidence booster.
On Good Friday, the Giants had the opportunity to test their newfound confidence against Wakefield at the Gal Farm.
This looks more promising for Huddersfield. Desperate for a win, of course, after 7 straight defeats, but they're pressing that Wakefield Trinity Wildcats line now. No more than 10 or 15 metres away, and they'll build nicely here. The ball is to Stephen Wild. He'll stretch and he will score. Stephen Wild, the first points of the day. It's a healthy crowd at the Gal Farm has just been announced, under 7,000. Well, that's good. Huddersfield looking to be good again here now as they press continually on. The break through the middle is a promising one, and with the usual support, it is Brad Drew. More points for the Giants. Wakefield have had a shocking record against Huddersfield recently. There's a little dab through there. It's posing a few problems here. They're in trouble. Riley got involved. This is Robbie Paul. He will score. Well, Wakefield have really threatened the Huddersfield line at all, but they won't now either. The break, it's Kevin Brown. He's got the ability, he's got the speed, he's got the willingness to go all the way. They won't stop him. Despite the last despairing dive, it's a try for Kevin Brown. 80 metres he went. Mistake by Ben Jeffries, and Brown is exhausted, no wonder. Robbie Paul attacking half-back. He's looked left, he's looked right, and it is to the right he goes with Brad Drew. Wakefield on the back foot again here. Oh, they're juggling with it, but it's going to be a simple try in the corner for Martin Aspinwall, and the day just gets better and better for the Giants. They now lead by 28 points to 0. Wakefield yet to be on the scoreboard today, but the Wildcats here are as close as they've been to that Huddersfield try line. And Danny Sculthorpe with the pass, short what it is. Richard Moore in, and Wakefield at last on the board just before half-time. If the Giants get the first points of the second half, I think they'll be home and dry, and inevitably Paul and Drew. And here's the big fella, Andy Raleigh, the former Hull KR man. Thank you very much. Surely now the Giants are on their way to breaking that sequence, that horrible sequence of 7 defeats in a row.
Simple catch. Earl Crabtree driving it in. It usually takes three to hold him in his tracks. They really are ganging up here, and it's been an uncharacteristic performance from the Wildcats, who had the chance of going top if they'd won this one. I don't think they're going to go top. Indeed, they might well be conceding more points here. Here's the support, as ever. Kevin Brown, second for him today, and it was all so simple. Crabtree, very influential since he's come onto the field of play, Earl Crabtree. And Huddersfield have just had too many shots in the armoury for the opposition, and Brown's skipping through for a hat-trick. 2 in 3 minutes for Kevin Brown. What a day for him. And they're looking rampant here now as Brad Drew takes on the entire Wakefield defence. He's still got it. Still he goes. Surely there's got to be another score here for the Huddersfield Giants. They're flinging it around here. And it will be a goal, a try for Stuart Jones. And that's a beauty, one of the best of the day. Everybody involved. Drew has got the time to look and to see who's in the line, and Paul Riley's the last one over there. It doesn't come to him. It comes instead Drew, once again featuring. And it's going to whip through the hands, and Riley will get it this time, and he will be on the board. The Huddersfield Giants fullback, the wonderful servants.
It just clicked from then on. We had belief offensively, and we had belief in one another. Confidence was coming to the front, and the anxieties of earlier on in the year were started to be a thing of the past.
3 days later, on Easter Monday, the Giants travelled to Warrington.
It was a real tough game because we were tired after we'd had a real tough game against Wakefield, and it was a quick turnaround, and Warrington were pumped up and fired up, and I think it was a very nip and tuck game throughout, but just the resolve, I think, the resolve and the determination in the group came out in the Warrington game, and it was a tremendous victory for us.
Next to come up against the resurgent Giants were Wigan.
Memory serves me correct, it was around the Easter period, so the games came thick and fast for us. And the year before we'd lost all three of our Easter games. This year we won on the Friday, won at Warrington on the Monday, and then beat Wigan down here by I think 40 points, and again played some fantastic stuff. And with those games in close proximity to one another, all of a sudden we found ourselves on 6 points. And again, we were playing some good stuff. We beat Wigan comfortably and played some fantastic stuff that night. I remember some of the class tries that we scored, and some of the execution was outstanding, and you could see a team grow, and I think from way back in rounds 1 to 7, the spirit of the team was starting to come through, and the backs to the wall stuff was starting to show.
It seems strange to see Wigan not in cherry and white. They're the All Blacks today, but the fans always flock to the Gal Farm whenever Wigan are in town. And it's the Giants who are taking the game to them right now. Drew. There's certainly plenty of power in that Huddersfield pack these days. looking for the first score of the afternoon. And Drew will chip ahead, a little kick from him. Will he get to the ball in time? He will. It's a try for Brad Drew. That was clever. Wigan looking to get back level in this match. Luluai, he's not far short. Oh, in fact, he's wriggled over. Well, that was poor defensive play. They should not have allowed him to stretch like that. Snitch was the man who missed him. Wigan looking to get back level here. The longer ball is floated out, and there's a spirited burst down the touchline. There will be support, but it's a crossfield kick and straight up into the sun as well, and that's a problem for the Huddersfield players who are all backtracking. Oh, a horrible mistake there. The ball is flung out for Luluai, and here will be a try for the wingman. Vialik is in. Brown, he's only 5 metres away. Can he get there? No. Well held up in the challenge. The forwards, the big props, always looking for work here. Drew flings it across for Raleigh. Andy Raleigh, try and turn him over. He can't make it. Still Huddersfield will hammer away at the line, and it's the biggest man of all, Crabtree. He's got it down. He's got the score. Earl Crabtree. Key moments for these. Wigan can't afford to concede again, and Paul Jackson is the latest to drive in at them. Good spirited stuff from him. Huddersfield gathering momentum here. They don't look like a bottom of the table side, that is for certain. That's a short ball. The good support. It's a try. It's a try for Stephen Wild, and the crowd are going wild too. Huddersfield really easing themselves away from the foot of the table. Well, that's a high one from Thorman. Here's Chris Ashton, the man who's destined for rugby union. Oh dear, how embarrassing is that? It's Paul Riley. Riley capitalises on a horrid mistake from Ashton. He slipped and he made himself look rather stupid. Well, it's been a terrific second half, if you're a Huddersfield Giants fan, that is, and it's going to get even better here by the look of it. Riley always involved. Oh, he's got the time to even slip and still pick himself up. And it's been a horrid second half for Wigan, not for Huddersfield. Ryan Hudson the scorer this time. The day just gets better and better. Well, Wigan haven't had a great deal to offer today, but Vialiki will get his second try here. Luluai puts him in. It's consolation, no more. Over 7,000 here, witnessing one of Huddersfield's best performances of the season without doubt. A little Foreman kick. What was Richards doing? That really sums up the day. It's Steve Snitch, and Huddersfield are home and dry, 41 points to 16.
Wigan had strengthened again, and we're looking quite a formidable outfit. I wouldn't say embarrassed, but to put them to the sword as we did, you know, they were never in the game, and we, you know, one of our best performances of the year, I remember rightly, you know, and I think that sort of gave the fans an indication as to how good we could be, and it certainly was. You know, it was a sign of things to come.
Harlequins were disposed of in similar fashion, 46 points to 16 at the Gal Farm, before a Friday night trip to Craven Park, where all the talk was of Paul Cook's controversial defection from Hull FC across the city to Hull KR.
Just going to the ground and the story all week about Paul Cook signed for Hull KR, and he'd left my old club in unusual circumstances, I think had a big impact on our group. I tried to control the situation, and we had difficulty with game plans and tip sheets and little clips and footage of Hull KR because we weren't quite sure whether Paul Cook could play, and I got some contacts in it all who assumed that he wouldn't be playing and it wouldn't get through in time, and lo and behold, I think an hour before kick-off, my friends over in Hull actually had heard on Humberside Radio that Paul Cook had signed and had been interviewed during the day and was about to make his debut against the Giants.
We spoke about the Paul Cook effect and how that would, you know, maybe change their pattern of play, and just basically change their motivation and their enthusiasm, you know, and it did. You know, they came out all guns blazing.
I thought that was the lead story throughout the game. The game was commentated upon as, you know, the Paul Cook debut for LKR, but again, the attitude of the players and the resolve and the steely determination, I think, to spoil the party was evident, and we were very focused and clinical that day and did a really professional job in what were really difficult circumstances.
Out they come. They may be 10th in Super League, but they possess the best defence in the competition. Only 188 points conceded. Only St Helens have conceded fewer. Got the ball away then to the man in support of him. That was oh, here's a chance for Stuart Jones. It's a try for Huddersfield. The supporter was Keith Mason. The try comes to Stuart Jones. Not long ago we saw Stuart Jones just trying to clear the cobwebs from a heavy challenge by Stanley Jean, and Stuart Jones goes over for his 4th try of the campaign.
And Brown sets it up. That is a good ball. Just delayed it, did the standoff Kevin Brown. They thought he was going to go for the dummy. Look how he just sucked in Stanley Jean, and Jones puts the Giants on the board. It silenced this crowd, that is for sure. This is a run now from Nero. They went far too high. You've got to make sure you go for the legs. It's a basic principle of rugby league that is often just forgotten about, but the pass from Brown was nothing short of superb.
Keep you in touch with those two matches throughout the course of the game here, as we always do on a Friday night when there's 8 o'clock kickoffs elsewhere. Brad Drew, beautiful ball. Andy Raleigh, and Hulkingston Rovers in trouble. Andy Raleigh, former Rover, of course. He has come through the ranks, Andy Raleigh. National League 2 with Sheffield, National League 1 with Hulkingston Rovers, into Super League with Huddersfield since 2004. And Andy Raleigh has just plonked the ball over the line to increase the Giants' lead. And you can hear a pin drop at Craven Park.
Super play by Brad Drew. He has all the qualities, hasn't he? And good support back on the inside from Andy Raleigh. But again, it was good solid work by the forwards, got them in the position. You've got to make sure you get the tackles in, and they failed to do that. Webster, he fell off Brad Drew, and the Giant supporters, they're happy, and rightly so. They are splitting this KR defence with ease.
Always going to be a tough game against Hull KR, any Super League team. I think that's been shown throughout the season that any team can beat anyone else. And so yeah, we knew it was going to be a tough game. It was great to play there and great to score. So yeah, it was good going into the game and great to get the result.
Not much celebration though after the try.
No, there wasn't. No. I think you've got to be a bit. Got to do the right thing. I think I didn't want people running onto the pitch and beating me up.
Fisher, the dummy half, finds Webster. Webster to Paul Cook. Space for Cook. Finds Cockayne. Cockayne short ball to Goddard. Quick hands. And yes, Bauer is in.
They've got to produce a little bit more tactical play, though, of the Robins. Someone coming on the angle or maybe back on the inside. That won't help him, but it bounced nicely for Webster.
And he has found Stanley Jean. And Stanley Jean gets away from Wild and scores a brilliant individual try. Hudson and Kevin Brown. Huddersfield have not given this up yet, let me tell you. A quarter an hour remaining. This one is in the melting pot. It is Scandalis. Now Drew, that's better. They have the man on the overlap this time, and it's Stephen Wild. And Stephen Wild scores. He just almost fatally hesitated then, but he rode the tackle and he plonked the ball down over the line. The score's a level.
It was a beautiful pass, wasn't it, from Drew? Just pulled in the winger, just hesitated Wild. He wanted to take the impact of the full-back's tackle. But watch this lovely pass. Bang. Gets on the outside of them. Bang, get in. Full-back, Ben Cockayne knew that he couldn't just go for the legs, otherwise he'd just been swept over the line. Tried to jolt the ball. Bang. It's a good pass from Lalisi. And they've got something to cheer about. It's all square.
And a little dab over the top from Paul Cook. And picked up by Foreman, and here comes the counter.
First
Good position by the full-back.
Very composed, Steve-O, that really composed there. No form of rushing, he just let the play unfold and diffuse the situation.
Do you know, I think it's 100 to 1 now that Hull Kingston Rovers will win this game.
And
looking at the team,
here is Lalacy, here is Jamal Lalacy, and Lalacy scores a magnificent try. And that probably will seal it for the Giants. 5 in a row in Super League. And they are on their way to the top 6. And John Sharp has fashioned a wonderful revival to their season here.
Riley running from dummy half. Lalacy through the dummy. He had the confidence and the speed. That should just about wrap it up. Beautiful play from the winger Riley. And what about the offload yet again? Brad Drew. He is loving playing at scrum half position.
They are running high on confidence, the Huddersfield Giants.
That was the sort of game that it was quite a defining moment. I sort of realised, you know, this team can do something. You know, to stop Hull KR with the way they were playing and with the Paul Cook effect, and you know, the fans were, you know, their partisan fans very much on their side. You know, we got in an arm wrestle with them. We grinded it out. We sort of just waited and we scored all our points at the end of the game, which was something really satisfying. You know, we had a game plan, we stuck to it, and you know, we got through it in the end. You know, it was a tough ask, and a one that we achieved with flying colours, really.
In particular, we dealt with Cook well, and he was determined that day to put on a show for his new fans, and I remember the big bank of red and white fans and cheering for Cook and saying he'd come back home. You know, he's an East Hull boy, and he'd supported OKR as a youngster, and I think it was a very emotional night for them, and for us we need to take that emotion out of the event and certainly put pressure on Cook, and we did, and we did a great job.
Six wins on the trot became 7 when the Super League moved en masse to Cardiff for what was dubbed Millennium Magic Weekend.
I think there's been plenty of talk during the build-up to the Millennium Magic. I know a couple of head coaches had opinions about the event, and I was particularly excited about it. It would be the first time I'd been to the Millennium Stadium, and I know the players were really excited. And coming up against Wakefield again, Wakefield had been good for us, and with the team that got us basically on the roll and going to the Millennium, I thought it added spice to the build-up as well. We went out on the field and played some super stuff. I remember the game being very tight early on, and in particular Wakefield throwing some stuff at us and us defending really well and bouncing off the back of that and putting them to the sword and enjoying the victory and enjoying the entire occasion.
The Giants outscored Wakefield by 6 tries to 2 on their way to another emphatic victory, this time by 36 points to 12.
Go! Quicker, Richard! Ned, go! Surrender! Move! 4, go!
So you've been an advocate for it to come back next year,
mate? The players and the feedback from the players and the staff, we're really looking forward to going there again, and I know that I should imagine there've been more numbers turning up for what has been proven to be a great weekend.
The following week saw another break from Super League duty as the Giants overturned Salford to reach the quarter-finals of the Challenge Cup.
Going to Luke Dawn for the kick. Luke Dawn seeing space in front of him. Oh, it's the interception. Luke Dawn, it's the run-in. It's the try that the Giants couldn't have believed was possible. Kevin Brown second. One loose pass concedes 4 points for the City Reds when it was looking so good. Salford's defence having to work overtime. Keith Mason that time put down, but the Giants getting so close to the Salford line. Paul gets it to Brad Drew. Brad Drew, well, that's a good pass on to Brad Drew to Stephen Wild. Stephen Wild's through on his own. Enough strength and pace, and more than that, motivation to shrug off the tackle of Luke Robinson. And this try, as you sense, is inevitable. Certainly will kill off the City Reds' effort, you would imagine. Paul's in the line. It comes out to Paul Jackson. The bandaged Paul Jackson at Salford have regrouped for the moment. Paul, goes the other way, goes on his own. He's seen the line, and he's there. Over the line, Paul looked to pass the City Reds defenders. They bought the dummy, and then Paul had enough guile and that little step and the spring and the eye for the line to get the ball down under the sticks. Ryan Hudson moves it right. Thorman, Crabtree, and the Giants fans sucking him over the line. So close, Ryan Hudson. Brad Drew, who else? Little kick through. How goes that? Well, I think we're going to see a try. The kick was judged to perfection. The chase was absolutely spot on. But even so, tonight, it's going to be comfortable. Oh, great short pass and a great offload onto Nero, and he's got support. He doesn't need it. A magnificent dummy from Nero. It was the break from Kevin Brown, but that was sheer class from Chris Nero. The dummy was top draw, and then the line opened up for him to score a trademark try.
So, 8 wins out of 8, but next up the Bradford Bulls, who the Giants had never beaten in the Super League era. As part of the build-up, Sky took Huddersfield's Wigan contingent up onto the moors.
The view from Winter Hill near Wigan can be breathtaking, but climbing it too quickly can make you dizzy. The Giants' climb up to 5th in Super League has been a fast one, but they've kept their feet on the ground. Mind you, it took a while to get off the ground in the first place. They had 7 attempts in Super League but just couldn't get a win. But now, with 6 wins from 6, they're well and truly off the ground.
We was always confident that that we could get the results, and we have done. But we're keeping our feet on the ground because we can easily slip back down just as quick as we got back up. So we're not taking nothing for granted.
Kevin, from the relegation zone all the way up to the top 6 as well. I mean, it's been a brilliant kind of story for Super League so far, hasn't it?
Yeah, a lot of people were calling for John Sharp to be sacked, and there was a crisis at the club. But like Martin's just said, it was we were a tight group, and we all believed in each other, and we thought we could get out of it, and we're doing that at the moment. But like you said, it's still very close from 5th all the way down to the bottom, and if we take our foot off the gas, we'll be straight back down there. So we know we've got to keep training hard and playing well and pick up some more points.
These 4 teammates have more in common than not knowing when to give in. They all joined the Giants from the Wigan Warriors, so team bonding has never been a problem.
Going through a bad spell like that, it brings you a bit closer together, and a bit of confidence. That's what was lacking at the beginning, and now we're scoring tries and you got that confidence back.
Confidence is sky high, but they are due to face a highly motivated Bradford side that's about to lose one of its great stars.
Yeah, I think we suffered a bit of that last year when Brian Noble left Bradford. We had his last game in charge, and then we had his first game in charge with Wigan. But it's something we can't control, so we just need to concentrate on our own performance and take care of itself.
Perseverance and dogged determination can go a long way towards success, but these Giants know that sometimes it's better to stick to what you're good at.
So out come the Bradford Bulls, just 6 points ahead of Huddersfield, both of them then in the hunt for a top 6 finish. The Bradford coach, Steve McNamara, played in the Huddersfield team that won promotion in 2002. He captained the side that beat Lee in the grand final. He kicked 7 goals in a 38-16 victory. But the remarkable fact about this match is that Huddersfield here have never ever beaten Bradford in the Super League before. In fact, they have won Bradford, that is 27 consecutive league encounters with Huddersfield since 1973. And included in that sequence some lopsided scorelines, 78-18 at the Valley Parade in 2001, 60 points to 2 here in April 2000, and 52-6 here in May of 2003.
Ever since Super League started for this club, I think the club has struggled and the team's struggled to beat Bradford. Bradford's always been the big brother of this club, and rightly so. Really, they've been the pace setters in Super League for a long time. They've had some magical moments and certainly set the benchmark for coaching. And our club had never beaten them in Super League, and for us, that always adds spice, I think, around the club itself. Not so much with the players and the coach. I think Super League's an emotional game anyway. You don't need to pump up too much the emotion of the game, but certainly for us, we played well that night. We knew we needed to.
Riley will play it to Hudson. Here is Skandalis. Now it's with Brad Drew. And he brings Stephen Wild into the picture. Wild looks as though he's recovered from that early knock. Looking for the penalty. It wasn't forthcoming. Drew comes down the short side. Dabs it in, looking for Aspinwall's place. Oh! It's dropped and it is Stephen Wild. Vainicolo lost it under pressure. And Stephen Wild touches down. First try to the Huddersfield Giants.
Good work on that blind side. Fourth occasion they've gone for the kick. Mistake, and Wild takes it. And boy, what a payback for John Sharp not to panic. At one point it looked as though Wild was going to leave the field of play, but it kept him out there, and you can't get good reward. He juggled with it, but he got it down. No complaint from Phil Bentham.
Brad Drew, Stephen Wild now for the Huddersfield Giants, the try scorer. Hudson gets the ball away to Andy Raleigh.
That's the play. They're looking to put the pressure on the young halfback and run straight over him.
Brad Drew again, stabs the ball in, that bounced up. Oh, it's Skandalis! And John Skandalis, it was played up by the Bradford man. The ball bounced up, and John Skandalis gets the try. Well, John Sharp doesn't smile very much during the course of the game. He's in the zone. He keeps his head firmly screwed on.
Too many errors from the Bulls, but this man, Brad Drew, again. He got the bounce, but Skandalis. The kick is only as good as a chase. It took a wicked bounce, but Skandalis was there. The Giants are bossing this. The crowd love it. Yeah, it's TRY time.
It's Henderson looking to get them going down that right-hand channel. Foreman collects it just outside his own in-goal area. Comes back in the field of play, gets away from one with ease, finds Aspinwall. Aspinwall gets through Vainicolo. There are reinforcements there, though. Aspinwall goes to ground.
Tremendous work. Chris Storman. Pat on the back there. But again, it's a problem for Steve McNamara. The kick was good. Trouble was the chase, non-existent. Look how fast that Huddersfield are wanting to get over the game.
All your energy has been used in defending your own try line down the other end of the field, and that's what Bradford need to be very aware of.
Wonderful offload from Crabtree, and again from Foreman. This is Robbie Paul. Here is Stuart Jones. There is try number 3 for Huddersfield. Well, they are the form team in Super League, and they're playing like it tonight. The Huddersfield Giants are on the march. A magnificent try from them. There's invention, there's strength, there's fitness, there's confidence.
What about the offload from the big fella, Crabtree? Sucks in the 2. Foreman takes it. The run around by Paul. He keeps his cool. And Jones says, we'll go in at half-time with a pretty convincing lead. Offload from Crabtree. Superb. That's what every coach needs from a big prop forward, is to be creative. The rest will be done by the others, and they certainly have done that. And that's why we are having a good game.
He's been on his toes, he's let it go, he's not jumped in when he doesn't really need to. I think off my memories, the first, they put it down again. Suicide.
Away they go. Foreman, has he got the legs to beat Ben Harris? He has, you know. And Foreman will score again in the corner. Bradford looking to strike back just before half-time. And Captain Chris Foreman comes up with the latest try. 24 points to 0. John Sharp. Well, come on, John, your team's leading by a country mile at the moment. Maybe you can get
clear position, back on the inside. McAvoy, it wasn't a bad pass. He was looking at the defender coming to him. They were trying to at least salvage something just before the half-time break. And quite frankly, he had a little look there at Kevin Brown. And good work by Thorman, mainly due to the fact he could have been thinking, I'll try to pass the ball on the inside so that the kick might be easier. You make sure you get the points, mate.
Well, Bradford are keeping the ball alive desperately, and they have a man on the overlap here, and it's Solomona, and there's the pass wide to Big Leslie, and there's the try that Bradford was seeking. This is Drew, the engineer-in-chief, gets it to Lalisi, who's away from Evans. Important tackle by Dave Halley. Aspinwall waits dummy half. Drew, infield to Hudson. Hudson back, it comes to Brown. Lovely dummy from Kevin Brown. Wonderful try from Kevin Brown.
And this is sheer quality. He struggled a while at Wigan. He started out as a sensational youngster, and he displayed skill like that in his early moments. And he's back to his best. That is brilliant. He just baffled this Bradford defence there.
Tonight, nearly 9,000 here to see Huddersfield laying the biggest Super League bogey of all time. Steve McNamara was in the Bradford side that night. He kicked 5 goals. Here, though, comes Ben Harris. And Ben Harris goes the length of the field for the Bulls. But it is continuing to be an intriguing and enthralling season, this 12th year of summer football. Well, at the moment, summer's a million miles away, because it is horizontal rain at the Gal Farm as Hudson dabs it over the top, looking for Thorman. Thorman hacks it forward. This will complete it. Second try for Thorman. Comprehensive is the only word you can use. A superb team performance from Huddersfield. Okay, Bradford depleted, but the way that Huddersfield have gone about their business from the first whistle tonight will have pleased their coach and pleased their supporters. Their growing number of supporters, by the way.
Tremendous effort by Ryan Hudson. Talk about keeping cool in the situation. Hudson did with the kick, and so did Thorman. Shortest way to the line. He blocks it. Get it down. Let's get out of here. Oh, that's a wonderful effort. Hudson break. And rightly so, they enjoy it. That'll wrap it all up.
And this is the third time that we've seen Huddersfield perform on Sky Sports this season. And I don't know about you, Steve-O, but I think we've seen an improvement in every single one of those performances. And they start to now look like a side that do feature in the top half and maybe even the top 4 places.
I think you're right, Phil, and it just goes to show that once you get the roll on, the confidence is there, but that the one thing that I really get respect for is that they work hard and they are talking to each other. They are a very professional outfit and fully deserve this win tonight.
We again did a really professional job. We looked confident. We looked as though we were a team who were in good nick and were in form, and we weren't inhibited by the fact that we'd never beaten Bradford. Again, an emotional night. I remember in the dressing rooms after, some players reacting as though they'd won a grand final, which, I'm not sure about that type of reaction, but, the relief and the reality of us actually getting one over on Bradford was I think, more of a relief than, the joys of a fantastic victory.
Everyone busting the proverbials, for each other, and that's one of the highlights for me. Defensively, we were just, really solid. Pretty much every game we played.
There was a nervy game going into that Bradford game. They only just picked us at their place, and coming here, we were playing well and confident, and it was just an awesome performance all round. And you get that donkey off your back within the club, and like I say, it was just a great performance and a great day.
That first win over Bradford, having come quite close to beating them at Odsal, that first win over Bradford here at the Gal Farm was just probably one of the best days that we've ever had at the Gall Farm for the Giants. It was just a tremendous feeling. Again, the exhilaration, the excitement, a bit of suspense as well, because it wasn't all one-way traffic, but the way we put that hoodoo to bed, we couldn't have done it in better style at the end of the day, and it was wonderful to behold.
So after round 14, the Giants had done more than haul themselves off the bottom of the table. In fact, they'd overhauled all but Saints, Leeds and Bradford to stand fourth in Super League, a remarkable achievement.
The Challenge Cup final was special, a special achievement. I think first time in 30 odd years Huddersfield were in a Challenge Cup final. That was a magical moment for me. But I think the 9 victories was a greater achievement, and personally for me it's the greatest achievement in my coaching career, coming off the back of 7 losses and keeping your team together and maintaining the belief and breaking a losing streak and then going on a winning run like we did and breaking the Huddersfield record of I think three straight victories was the best the Giants had ever done, and to do it by winning 7 straight was by far and away the best achievement for me personally, but also for my team. And I think along the way I picked up a couple of awards as well, the Coach of the Month I think for April and May, which is not just for me but an indicator of how the team was playing and what we'd achieved and how well we were doing, and we were right in the mix again. I think at one stage we were 5th or 6th, and lo and behold we're right back in the mix and giving ourselves a chance.
It was disappointing, therefore, when the run came to an end at a rejuvenated Salford.
We weren't getting sloppy, but I just sensed that we weren't quite on the money in training. There's a difficulty in maintaining momentum. This game's about momentum and about form and about setting yourself standards and maintaining that hunger. And you know, one of the messages was stay hungry, stay focused, and we managed to do that for 9 weeks. But we went to Salford, and Salford again was an emotional night. Really, we played over there on Sky, and I remember they'd sacked Carl Harrison during the week. They'd lost it at Catalan by 60 and sacked Carl on the Tuesday. Steve Sims took over, and they looked like a different team. They did. They played extremely well and probably would have beat anybody on that day.
Paul Riley at dummy half for Huddersfield. Now it's Brown, short ball to Robbie Paul, wanted to take control of that situation, gives it to Drew, and Drew draws them into him. Here is Stephen Wild, Huddersfield a level. Stephen Wild with the try. The 150th game of his career for Stephen Wild. That is the 50th try of that career.
All you have to do is make sure that you go on the shoulder of Brad Drew. Excellent stuff. He timed it to perfection. Watch Drew delay the pass, but he'll run on the arc, drag away the defence, come and get me, back on the inside. Superb stuff there. You could see that Jewett didn't fill in quick enough. They were pointing. They knew he was coming, but I'm afraid the defence wasn't there.
Ryan Hudson wants to get on with it for Huddersfield. He finds Brad Drew. Drew with an angled kick. But the fullback Wiltshire have positioned himself well, and he begins the counter. John Wiltshire, great ball to Hodgson, and Hodgson has got the legs of Drew. Has he? Yes, he has. Hodgson will go over next to the sticks for the Salford City Reds. What a pass from Wiltshire. What a magnificent pass.
Not that they mind, because they know they've got Salford in their own quarter.
Well, this is Stuart Littler, and he's just on one knee, offloads to McGuinness, who gets the ball away, and here goes Luke Dawn. Luke Dawn inside to McGuinness. Has McGuinness got the legs? The Ann might have, and Grady Ann scores for Salford. Unbelievable. Here is Brad Drew. He gives it to Chris Thorman. Thorman gets the pass away to Nero. Nero finds Riley, and Riley gets in the corner.
Stupid play by Andy Coley. Allowed Huddersfield to get the possession. Great work. Lovely offload. Squeezes in at the corner. When they should have been applying the pressure, the Reds have suffered the consequences.
Robinson under pressure. Robinson still. He humps the ball downfield. It goes over the head of Thorman. It will go dead. And Salford have won against all the odds. Carl Harrison sacked this week. John Sharp's unbeaten record goes west in Salford.
The winning run had gone, which ultimately was always going to go anyway, but in the circumstances against it, it was disappointing. So we had a bit of adversity that week. We'd suffered a little bit from maybe a little bit of overconfidence, and we've got Hull next, and we're travelling to the KC, and certainly a place where Huddersfield had never picked up a point.
Well, a point is what they got. Defences were on top as Chris Thorman scored all the Giants' points in a 9-all draw with Hull FC. John Sharp described it as a magnificent team performance, but he was less complimentary about the display, which saw them go out of the Challenge Cup hammered 52-20 by the Bulls.
Out of the smoke they come. Traditional melodramatic entrance which they enjoy here at Odsal, the Grattan Stadium, as it's known in the modern day.
We were poor that day. We didn't play as good as what we had been doing, and Bradford raised the bar as well. They were very emotional and very pumped up following the couple of weeks previous defeat, and were just too good for us that day.
Have the try as well. Ben Harris slips in.
It's going to be a big 10 minutes as well.
Here's Solomon, half through and over, ripped through the hole in the Huddersfield defence. 3 more tackles from here. You would back Bradford, wouldn't you? Henderson goes for dummy half.
Only needs one.
Here's Brown. Flat ball, and he's found Nero. Terrific pass. Great angled run by Nero.
Great try. And that's what they wanted, really. Lovely ball by Brown, and he's in.
It was going to be difficult for the fullback to get across to him, but suddenly self-belief begins to emerge. Coach John Sharp has a look at the plans. I think we might be on plan C at the moment.
I remember a few of the boys carrying niggles, myself included, you know, a couple of bumps and bruises from our previous games, and Rod Jensen had just got off a flight from Australia. You know, it was his first game, and you know, Bradford were really pumped for that. I can honestly say I don't think anyone would have beaten them that day. You know, they had Tame Tupou on the bench as well, making his first appearance, and that was a big lift to their go forward. And they were very good that day. I mean, I don't really have much more to say about that because I thought we were poor, but you know, I don't think we would have beaten them anyway because they were just on fire that day.
Henderson again, up to the line, just about kept hold by Ben Harris. Tame Tupou! He's in, is he? The Bradford fans thought he put a foot in touch, but he's not. He's scored.
The only consolation for the Giants was that they did keep going until the final hooter and restored some pride with arguably the 3 best tries of the game.
Slip from Lilisi, and suddenly he's free. And all he can see in front of him is green grass. And Huddersfield have a try back. Jamal Lilisi barely hesitates to celebrate a score which has little meaning in context of the game.
Yeah, from the scrum. Just been drawn in there. The Bradford defender. Try.
Didn't have to run fast, did he, once he got through?
Once he was through, no full back at home.
Running even slower there. You could make a case for any of the teams left, really, couldn't you now? St Helens potentially on fire when they want to be. Here comes Aspinwall, support from Robbie Paul, and Robbie Paul would have sat at home last night and dreamt of scoring the last try at the Grattan Stadium this afternoon.
A poor pass, and it's a missed tackle. Ben Harris doesn't commit to the tackle. Good support play by Robbie. Puts his head back, gets to the corner quite easily. He'd be happy with that turn of pace.
Get on the 10, go!
Here's Drew. Nero with a step. Now Riley stepping back on the inside. Could be a late flourish here for the Huddersfield Giants. And away goes Ryan Hudson underneath the sticks. Well, full marks to their character. 3 tries in as many minutes. Hasn't quite made it a cup tie again, but has restored a little of the faith from the Huddersfield faithful.
Well, this is what they can do, isn't it? You know, they're a very talented side, good football, but they've just been blown away by a big Bradford performance. But when the game opens up a little bit, this is what they can do. Very skilled, great ball, good running here, Riley. Good awareness, there's support play by Ryan Hudson.
Predictably, after the bubble had been burst in Cup and League, the Giants lost momentum. A home defeat by the Rhinos was followed by a heavy reverse at Knowsley Road, and then a disappointing performance against Warrington at the Gal Farm.
If you budgeted at the start of the year for points that you wouldn't pick up, then Leeds and Saints would be in the equation. But for us, there was the international weekend in between the Leeds and the St Helens game, so we'd got 2 weeks to prepare for the Saints game. Now, tactically for me, we tried to fit in a little mini pre-season. The blank weekend, we worked the players every day until they couldn't stand by the end of the week, going into that blank weekend. So we squeezed extra weights into them, extra conditioning sessions, just because I believe that we had potential to be a playoff team, and we wanted to finish the season strong. And this was an opportunity for me to squeeze in an extra week of really hard physical activity. We gave them the weekend off, and then we went to St Helens. Now, we went to St Helens tired. We were still trying to recover from that hard week the week before, and I understood that. That was part of my rationale, knowing that if I can do that now, whilst there's no game at the end of that week, we'd back right off with them then for the rest of the year. And we went to Saints and got beat heavily, and we looked a tired team, but it didn't shock us because we expected it.
So just 1 point from their last 5 matches would see the Giants slip back out of the playoff positions into the bottom half of the table. Trip to Wakefield gave them the opportunity to get back to winning ways.
Ben Jeffries, a little kick ahead from him. Riley should have no problems with this one. Oh, he's pushed, and well, there's going to be a score given here. Peter Fox got the touchdown. The Giants certainly don't like this one, but the Wakefield mascot's celebrating. A few words are being said here, though, to the officials. The Giants don't like that. Robbie Paul shows and gives and then goes as well. Oh, excellent play from Paul. Huddersfield looking to get right back into it here, and they do. Chris Thorman is over. Immediate response from the Giants. There's the kick, and here will be the chase. Paul Riley will take his time on this one. And flinging it out from the back. Rod Jensen, terrific work from him, and then Jamal Lalusi, he'll kick ahead, the race is on, who's going to win that race for the score? Stephen Wild, now, try for the Giants, and it went from one end of the field to the other, with the new man Jensen, he was involved, so was Lalusi, but it's Wild's try. Well, it's hard to believe that Huddersfield were 13 points down at half-time. Talk about a game of 2 halves, and look at the ferocity now. Earl Crabtree in there, typifying the new spirit of the Giants in this half. Oh, there might be an interception here. It's Jensen who's taken it along. The mistake was made. Rod Jensen, he can't quite make it to the line, but I think Steve Snitch will. Another Huddersfield score. 3 tries in a matter of minutes, turning the game on its head. It's a brilliant comeback in the rain. Drew
how well he plays, and it's a magnificent driving run from him again, and Wakefield is scattered all over the place. Well, you just wonder what was said in the dressing room by John Sharp at half-time, because Huddersfield Giants have come out an entirely different team, and look at this, they really are on the rampage here. It's going to be another one for Shane Elford, taking Snitch's pass in his stride between the sticks. It's a romp now for Huddersfield. Obst will try and get there himself, and he does. It looked as though it may have been a double movement, but Sam Obst has been awarded the try. And what a game it is. It's on a knife edge still, with Wakefield looking for another score here. They're dribbling the ball towards the line, and footballing skills from Obst. He's got try number 2 for himself, but it's going to be too late on fancies. Even with the goal, there'll be a point adrift.
Next up, what could have been a difficult trip to Harlequins, who were chasing a playoff place themselves. Chris Nero scored a try in a tight first half as the teams turned round at 6 apiece. But the Giants took control after the break, scoring 3 more tries through Nero, Steve Snitch and Kevin Brown. A comfortable victory against the Catalans Dragons saw the Giants move back into the top 6, before Wigan's Pat Richards booted them back down again the following week. Both sides scored 2 tries at the JJB, but Richards' 6 goals proved decisive. So the Giants went into round 24 against the Bulls, needing a victory to rekindle hopes of making the end-of-season playoffs.
I know that the second victory against Bradford was for me the best win of the year, and I know that we played Bradford the first time around and maybe caught them cold, or maybe they got a couple of key players missing, but the second victory was sweet really after the Challenge Cup defeat.
It's the Bulls who are looking likeliest at the moment. A little kick through from Terry Newton there. In fact, ricochets and rebounds off Giants player off a boot. Bradford leading 2-1 in the squabble so far between these two this season. And there's a pick up here, and there will be a run from Jensen, and I'm not sure they're going to catch him. And against the odds, against the run of play, it's a try for the Giants from Jensen. And he's gone all the way. Newton. And then Morrison. This is Solomona. David Solomona, so inspirational since he signed from Wakefield. The Bulls are on the board. Well, Huddersfield did beat the Bulls here earlier in the season, but it's the Bulls who are rampant right now. The ball inside is for Henderson, and the little hook is over. The Australian scores for Bradford Bulls. Clever try. The Giants, of course, did beat the Bulls earlier in the season at the Galfond. They're looking for a repeat here. Kevin Brown will move along that line, but the white shirts come to meet them. Lalice's got away from the first marker. They'll try and get to him now, but can they do it? Oh, it's a brilliant score if he gets it down. Jamal Lalise, his first of the day, and what a try it was from him. Well, this match really is hotting up. You might say it's feisty, it's bad-tempered, but it's the Giants who are looking for another score here. And this man, Lalise, is jinking and twisting and turning and stretching and scoring as well. Lalise's second, and Bradford just can't cope with him. Well, that's a lovely ball. It was a pretty high tackle as well, coming in from Glenn Morrison. And that might just spark another rumpus. But the Giants press. And Bradford are right on the back foot. Clever little kick. Lulisi, he's going to get a hat-trick here. A hat-trick for Jamal Lulisi. Maybe the Bulls are beaten. Huddersfield certainly think so. And there may be a late score here. This is McKenna. Can he stretch? Yes, he can. Chris McKenna. The Bulls are still in it.
It was very satisfying as players. I think it meant even more to the fans, you know, to the people of Huddersfield Town. You know, the people that have had to watch and read about how well Bradford are during the Super League period, and it was pretty sweet to do the double on them, and the performances as well were really good. You know, obviously the first time we beat Bradford, we put a fair few points on them. The second time was even better. You know, it was a close arm wrestle. You know, very much forward orientated battle. And our pack did one on them that day, and it was really pleasing.
So, with 3 rounds still to play in the regular season, the Giants were back up to 6th. And with games to come against 2 of their closest rivals, Warrington and Wakefield, they knew that 2 wins would be enough. In fact, victory against Warrington at the Halliwell-Jones Stadium would see them leapfrog the Wolves into 5th. And that's the way it turned out.
Well, there they are, the Huddersfield Giants. There's the skipper, Chris Thorman. Behind him, Paul Riley, one of a trio of players who will be playing elsewhere next season. He has given remarkable service to the Huddersfield Giants over the course of his career. And out they come in their traditional jerseys.
They went and lunged for it, went back to St. Clark on the blind side.
Farfili with the try for Warrington. Ryan Hudson is the man who is directing operations at dummy half. He finds Kevin Brown. Brown pops the ball up to Stephen Wild. And Stephen Wild tried to go back on the inside, but they were waiting for him in numbers. Ryan Hudson is the dummy half. Wild gingerly gets to his feet. He was injured in that. Hudson! Oh, what a try from Ryan Hudson! Huddersfield reply immediately. 4 apiece. We haven't played 5 minutes yet. And Ryan Hudson has got Huddersfield back in this match immediately. He has played every game this year. That's his 5th try of the campaign, and Ryan Hudson is a young man who is making up for lost time.
He picked out the man, the pro forward, Paul Wood. It all came about by the header from Braychek. Couldn't get to it from the scrum. And they picked Wood out there, and it wasn't a very good attempt either. You've got to go low and try to stop the momentum, but Wood just tried to slap him across the chest. You're never going to stop it. Ecstasy on the faces of the Giants supporters. Well, both sides, both coaches realise that there's a few players out there that are really not putting their shoulder into the hard work, and that's a mistake.
It's come up for Warrington, and this now is Farfili again. Farfili was fed by Ben Westwood, and Huddersfield funneling back quickly in defence. Will they be quick enough? It's Westwood, it's wide again, and Westwood once more, and Westwood's in the corner. Jackson to Hudson, Hudson to Brown, Brown to Raleigh. This is a game of top 6 intensity, isn't it? Hudson and Drew. What a run from Brad Drew. What a try from Brad Drew. And Huddersfield are back in front. Warrington, they were just caught napping for a moment. And Brad Drew over for the try.
I said before the game, Eddie, that he'd still play 100%. Doesn't matter what team he's going to or whether he is leaving the Giants. He has given his all this season, and it was a good option because all throughout this game, Brad Drew has been the man receiving, first receiving and then making the decisions. On this occasion, they didn't expect him to run.
35.5 minutes, 4.5 to the break. Important time of the match for Warrington, this with Morley.
This is where Breers comes into his own.
And here is Clark. He looks for Breers and finds him. Kick to the corner for Kevin Penny! And Kevin Penny! Still going hammer and tongs. That's a beautiful work move from John Clark. And does Parker get over No, he doesn't. Back it comes. Oh, it's been pinched. It has been pinched, and it's the Rocket, isn't it? It's Jensen. It's Rod Jensen. Here comes Kevin Penny. But Jensen will win the race. Oh, it's a steal underneath his own sticks. Rocket Rod Jensen. The referee wants to check the grounding, does he? Must be happy that Jensen was onside.
Well, he read it exceptionally well.
Well, his feet were behind the line.
They were. They look as though they were, so they'll be happy with this. They'll just run it forward, and there will be confirmation. It's the right way to score to try and win conditions. Just slide over. Good effort from Penny. Surely this will be confirmation of the TRY. It is.
Try for Rod Jensen.
Did Mark Gleeson just go to sleep on this one? I think he did. Take nothing away from this man, Jensen. Penny was coming on the angle, but Jensen knew all he had to do was slide.
Here's Kevin Brown now for Huddersfield. He'll play the ball, and this...
Ooh, that looked forward.
This is Andy Raleigh.
Wait!
Robbie Paul directing the operations. Paul Jackson. Jackson stands in the tackle again. Pickersgill to him. With help from the number 22, Ben Harrison. It's Robbie Paul, 10 metres away. Here is Drew, stabbing the kick in, looking for Lolise. I think Lolise has scored, you know.
He's certainly got a hand to it. Has he got the correct downward pressure?
Seen them given, seen them wiped out, haven't we?
They scored in exactly the same manner against Bradford a few weeks ago, Steve. Would you give that?
It was a fantastic kick, to be fair, and a great chase on the end of it. I don't think he has to have control, he just has to have pressure, don't they? Downward pressure. And is there enough downward pressure just on the end of his fingertips there? We probably will have to say there was.
It's given. That is a massive call for both these clubs. There is a stunned silence around the Halliwell-Jones Stadium.
Brad Drew, he's an architect, isn't he? And at least he knew exactly where he was going.
Touch judge was quick to move into that. Here is Brent Gross, and this is Westwood!
Try time.
Westwood got that ball down, yes. He has. He'll give this. Second try for Ben Westwood. Breers, oh, it's another interception! And away goes Kevin Brown, and that will put Huddersfield firmly in the top six. Kevin Brown with the try, and the try's awarded. Well, that's two interceptions that have broken Warrington's hearts here tonight.
Very easy indeed. Breers through the dummy. And that split second was sufficient for this fella Kevin Brown to realise that it may be coming his way. It was. That'll seal it, and they know it.
Here is Parker. Back it comes to John Clark. John Clark finds Brent Gross. They have the men out wide here. It's a hat-trick for Westwood.
What an effort.
It's a hat-trick for Ben Westwood. This is Lolise. Westwood doing well. It's a penalty. Morley was all over Lolise.
He'll just kick this over the line. Or will he go for, he'll just punt it in there with
I think Thorman's going to go for two. Disappointment for Warrington. And has Thorman kicked it? He has, even though he slipped in the process. Ends a good night for the Huddersfield Giants. The skipper, Chris Thorman, 34 points to 22.
I remember the Jensen try, in particular, there'd been a lot of talk about Kevin Penny and his fantastic first year in the game, and he's received some great plaudits as being probably the quickest fella in Super League. And you know, in reality of it is we wouldn't bet against it, but the interception from Jensen on his own line, and it's actually been timed by Sky, I think, at 100 metres in 11.2 seconds. It's pretty quick. With a pair of boots on grass with a ball stuck under your arm, and everyone enjoyed it, and in particular we had a bit of fun with Rocket about Kevin Penny actually catching him, but believe it or not, he said he eased up. Now if the bloke's easing up and he's running 100 metres in 11.2, then it's pretty quick, and he's been a great addition to us and scored some great full-length tries for us this year, and I think he's just going to get better.
He's a great signing, he's a great fella, he's a very good professional, great trainer, and he had a good positive effect on a lot of the boys. Not to mention he's experienced, a lot of good stuff in the NRL. But the main thing that Rod brought to the team was that, he could score a try out of nothing, and that was something that we maybe lacked a little bit. It's maybe a little dour, and it's there's a few errors pop into your game, and we're on the back foot. When someone can score a try out of nothing, it makes a massive difference.
I am a go-getter. I like to make sure things end up successful, and I don't mind working at it. And that's what I see at the club. They're a working side. They make sure that there's no stone left unturned, so you can't go back and say, well, what could have been or what if. So that's my personality, and I think that, bringing it from Australia to here is going to be a good thing for the club.
So the Giants knew that victory in their penultimate game against Wakefield at the Gal Farm would see them make the top 6 for the first time in the Super League era.
The Warrington game gave us 25 points, and I think we were sat in 5th, and we went into the Wakefield game knowing that if we could beat Wakefield, then we'd be certain of a top 6 finish for the first time in the club's history. And so there was a lot of pressure on us anyway to get the job done, and lo and behold, we beat them again for the 4th time.
It's a massive occasion at the Gal Farm Stadium as Huddersfield and Wakefield come face to face yet again. And who would have believed this at the start of the season, when Huddersfield had that horrendous start, that they could actually make it through to the Super League playoffs for the first time ever. Well, that is the carrot being dangled in front of the Giants players today. Oh, there's an interception here, and of all people, it is the former Huddersfield Giant, Paul White. They won't stop him. They saw this many a time at the Gal Farm in the Huddersfield colours. Now he's done it to them for Wakefield. Drew, cross the line here. Huddersfield need a score. They need to get back. It's a brilliant ball for Paul Riley, in at the corner. And the man who will be a Wildcat next season has got Huddersfield Giants on the board. What a ball it was from Brown, though. Look at the length on this, and look at the score in the corner from Riley. Wakefield will be happy to have both Drew and Riley in their ranks next season. How many tries has he got now for the Giants?
Back here, lads.
Well, you can hear referee Gamson say, get back. Don't want any offsides at this stage of the game. But it's a good build-up again, and Lulisi. Oh, he's so elusive, close to the line. He's been a real hit, Jamal Lulisi. Referee Gamson will want to look here. Possible obstruction, possible double movement, he says. But Jamal Lulisi, undoubtedly a hit as a Giant this season, thinks he's got it. Well, was there an obstruction?
Yeah, we're checking that as well, pal. If we get
nothing wrong there. He's got brute strength, hasn't he? And uses it every ounce. The fans will wait, and the Huddersfield fans will hope. And here comes the decision. Try Jamal Lulisi. Well, Wakefield Trinity Wildcats have often run the Giants close, so they've got a break on here. This is Jason Demetriou. He'll give the ball. No, he won't. He doesn't need the support. Demetriou. He used Kevin Henderson and John Keir Happier. March. It's Demetriou again. A second score for the skipper. And Wakefield is stretching away into a healthy lead. Sean Sharp observing and hoping that the Giants will register here now in these early minutes of the half, and they've got a big chance for a score. It's Lulisi. It had to be. There's no stopping him. Robbie Paul at the start of it, then Brad Drew. It goes along the line. Snitch was up in support, but Lulisi over in the corner. Much better this from the Giants. How many times have they turned it on in the second half of matches this season? He's over. It's Stephen Wild. Again, Drew and Snitch involved. Wild the scorer. Lovely movement, and the Giants have come from behind again to seal their place surely now. The countdown is on, it doesn't matter.
27 points was a record, and at that stage we were sat in 5th spot with 1 game to go, and we knew that we were in a playoff, and I thought that itself was a magnificent achievement for us, that we'd had no points after 7 games, and we went on to make a playoff. Now, no team in Super League history has been bottom of Super League at Easter and made playoffs. Now, we weren't just bottom of Super League, we were ranked by the worst in probably Super League history, having no points. But not just to have no points after 7 rounds, but to finish 5th is a fantastic achievement for this club and for the players and the staff as well.
So all that had to be settled in the final round of matches was who the Giants would be facing in the playoffs. By the time they played Hull KR at Craven Park, they knew that anything better than a 4-point defeat would mean they'd avoid St Helens and would have the easier task of playing Hull FC instead.
So there is Chris Thorman. Huddersfield safe in the knowledge that they are in the playoffs, preparing for them for the first time, thanks to that hard-fought 24-22 win against Wakefield last Sunday at the Gal Farm Stadium. And the Giant and the Robin warming up for this encounter here tonight. And on the charge came Andy Raleigh, who has just had a finger put back in place. It was a dislocated finger. Good ball to John Skandalis. Skandalis keeps it alive to Brad Drew. Scrambling defence from Rovers. And Ryan Hudson. Back it goes to Brown again. Over the top it goes to Paul Riley. Oh, now Riley, did he touch the corner post first before he touched it down?
I think he'll give it.
No, the referee is happy. Took the report from the touch judge. Riley, though, took a clatter and he is hurt. But he's got the first 4 points and Huddersfield hit the front.
It was inevitable, really, because they were applying the pressure all the time. Beautiful pass from Brown. Riley in at the corner. You can see the Rovers' defence. They got caught there. That was poor play in the defensive line, but take nothing away from the beautiful lob pass by Kevin Brown. It was so nonchalant. Wasn't from this fella. Went into the corner. Looks like he's got a sort of a dead leg on the thigh. It'll take more than that to stop this fella.
4 foot on the line.
And Cook is tackled by Ryan Hudson. This is Fisher. Finds Michael Vella. And Vella! Oh, it's a great try from Michael Vella. Well, they haven't won here since March when we last saw them on Sky Sports on this ground. They beat the Leeds Rhinos. Been a long time. Thorman, Nero. It's Riley again. Now then, has he got a foot in touch, or did he manage to stay off the whitewash and come inside and put the ball down? Foot in touch, says Phil Bentham, for the video referee to check on, and the grounding.
He was pretty close to it. No. No, he's all right. Has he got it down, though? That's the big question. I think that's okay. I think that's okay. And he's got it down. Surely this will be the confirmation, and it looks like Huddersfield will take the lead yet again.
Riley with the try. Paul Riley, 2 tries tonight for the Huddersfield Giants. John Sharp is delighted with his full-back turned winger. And why not, Phil, can I ask you, March the 10th, Leeds were here and Hull KR won, the last time that they won at home, yet they have won away from home, and some mighty scalps they have collected as well. Why do you think that is? They can't win on this ground and they're still behind the 8 ball here.
Perhaps teams have come here giving them more respect than they have when they played them at home, thinking, well, newly promoted side, we don't have to try that hard. And I think that the history and challenge of coming to play Hull Kingston Rovers away from home has perhaps lifted loyal teams. And whether it's going to lift the Huddersfield side here for a second time this season, Nero's over.
He is indeed. Chris Nero skips away from the tackles. And he has been massive in defence, Chris Nero, and he's been pretty potent in attack there.
Well, the Rovers have got a big problem on their right-hand side on defence. That's the 3rd try that they've shipped him in that corner. And you can see there it was not the best defensive effort. And Nero skipped through. The two previous came from the winger Riley, but he didn't need it. The big centre on this occasion just pushed away. Bauer had no chance. And the Giants, they've been repaid for some very attractive rugby league football.
This is Morrell. Here is Paul Cook. Cook with the ball. Great ball. Chester. Chester with the try.
Second. Hold here. Wait. Go.
Wild and Drew. And Drew with the kick out wide. Finds the arms of Nero, who gives it to Jensen. Cuts inside Andreas Bauer and scores. Rod Jensen. Rod Jensen with the try. And I must say, from the moment that Hull KR moved that ball from one side of the field to the other inside their own 10-metre zone, you saw the warning signs just flashing for them. And once they coughed possession up in centre field, you believed it was only a matter of time. And Rod Jensen comes up with the try, and that's his 4th try of the season.
Came about, big error, picked up by Hudson, get onto it, but put it down to this wonderful kick. It's as good as a long pass, if not better. Wild did well, step on the inside. All the tries from the Giants have come in this direction. It's been a bit of a nightmare for Andreas Bauer, and Jensen has made him pay the price.
Rod Jensen, this is his 10th consecutive appearance on the wing, but it was a pinpoint kick from Brad Drew. And there is a Jamie Iansen who plays for Celtic Crusaders. He's no relation, incredibly. Here is Rocket Rod. Rocket Rod Jensen, the man who could be the match winner for Huddersfield in the playoffs, gets the try underneath the sticks for them here. Rod Jensen. Well, you pointed him out, Phil. You said, perhaps, he is a match winner. And he's certainly come up with a great try here. This was a try that took some scoring.
Tremendous effort. Just a mere ability for Elise to miss a man out, which was Brown. Talk
Wonderful
about
swerve around Hardman.
Oh, but that's balance. That is wonderful. But you've got to point the finger at the Rovers coach, Justin Morgan. Every single try has come over in the same area. And I've mentioned time again, I don't want to keep pointing the finger, but Andreas Bauer has had a nightmare. They just kept going at him. Mark Lennon showing his ability and speed there. Wild desperately to get over the top. Give us a smile, John.
And Sharp is on his way down to the touchline. This is Paul Cook, and it is a bounce off by Lovegrove. Lovegrove has got Fisher, and Fisher gets over for Rovers. Thorman got it a little bit wrong, didn't he, in technique? Yeah. Fisher, great run up the middle from Fisher. Webster wants to kick, Fisher wants to fall. Fisher will get the fall. Second try for Ben Fisher. Paul Cook with a drop goal attempt here. He's kicked it. Paul Cook has kicked Rovers into a 1-point lead. Listen to them counting down. 5 tries to 4. Goal kicking has cost them. Goal kicking has cost Huddersfield. It's all over. Hull Kingston Rovers end the Super League season with a victory. Michael Vella came up with a try. Fisher with 2 in the second half. And Chester got the other. But it was 5 tries to 4 for Huddersfield. But Thorman only managed 2 successful kicks. They've ended the season on a high of Rovers. John Sharp will hope for improvement next week in the playoffs. And Huddersfield now confirmed in 5th. So I make it that they will go to Hull.
We went to Hull KR knowing that we didn't need to win, but we couldn't afford to get beat by more than, I think, 2 points. And God bless the players. They allowed the coach to lose a few years, I think, during that game, and ultimately we got beat by the point. But we went there with a job to do and an outcome, and we drove away, mission accomplished. We drove away from the Craven Park knowing that we were finishing 5th, and that made us really proud.
So the Huddersfield Giants finished the season in 5th, their highest ever Super League placing. They'd fulfilled their first ambition. Now they travel to the KC Stadium for their first taste of playoff rugby.
The message for the players all week was stay calm. Stay calm. You don't need to be ready to play just yet. I didn't think anxiety would be an issue for us. That, you know, we'd had 17 players from last year still with us that had played in the Challenge Cup final. Our new signings of Lalessi and Elford and Scandalis had won a grand final. Jensen had played in a grand final in the NRL also.
The anticipation was massive. You know, we knew that from the press and from the fans and stuff. But, you know, first of all, we've made the playoffs, and that was our goal. And you sort of draw a line under that, and it's like a new season. You know, it's like you think of it as a totally new season, a new league table has started almost. I really didn't want it to be an anticlimax.
Personally, going into it, I wasn't too nervous. I mean, you're nervous for every game because that's the way that I am. If you go into a game and I'm not feeling sort of on edge, you know, you're not ready for the game.
So the KC Stadium holding its breath and wondering what lies ahead over the next 80 minutes. Remember what happened last night. Such incentive for these two now. Whoever wins here tonight, no matter what, whoever wins here, they will be at home against the Wigan Warriors next week. It's Peter Sharp against John Sharp. Australian against Englishman. Both wily characters, the coaches. Both now 240 minutes from Old Trafford. And the Black and Whites lost to St Helens in last year's grand final, 26 points to 4. They've redoubled their efforts this year. They've made it this far after a roller coaster of a season. Huddersfield are the third new club to make it to the playoffs in the last 4 seasons. Can they match Wakefield, who claimed a momentous win here at Hull in 2004, or will they fall in a heap, as Salford did at Bradford last year? Chris Foreman is fit. He took a heavy bang on the shoulder last week at Hull KR, but he's come through training this week. Thomas Lee to Ewan Dowes, and Dowes spins and gets the ball away. Little dab to the corner, looking for Gareth Rayner. Rayner will touchdown.
He's got it. He'll go to the screen with Ashley Klein.
No, he won't. He's given it. He has given the try, Ashley Klein. Well, they thank their nearest and dearest. They thank Hull Kingston Rovers for that, because it was on this ground not too long ago that Hull Kingston Rovers beat them 42 points to 6. And in the programme tonight, the captain Lee Radford said it was just the kick up the backside that they needed. Well, Carvel dislodged the ball. Here is Thomas Lee.
He'll go to the screen on this.
I don't know whether he will. It was off the shoulder, says Ashley Klein, and the try is given. But Paul Riley is flat out. There was certainly a swinging arm from Gareth Carvel, but Ashley Klein's view of events was that it hit Paul Riley on the shoulder. He's off his back.
It was a swinging arm, though. There's been many an occasion where a penalty is being given for intent. You don't have to get to a situation where you make contact. If you use a swinging arm, and I think he does, watch this. Well, the arm's moved okay, and you don't have to make contact. Full credit to Hull. They played to the whistle. They didn't stop. Huddersfield Giants did. Slow motion. But listen to this crowd. They can smell the victory. Maybe a try, maybe a mistake.
Well, the Huddersfield forwards are only just really back on side. They were plodding for that, but that's a good ball wide from Crabtree. They're asking for 6 to go. They might not need it. Here is Lalessi, and Lalessi takes the ball. Oh, just loses his footing, turns 360. Still going, still going. It's back to 0 in the tackle count. This is Ryan Hudson. Hudson gets the return. He's in, is Hudson. Huddersfield strike back. John Sharp waved the magic wand in that dressing room at half-time. Hudson with the try. But you have to put it down to Lalessi. What a break and what a pass wide from Big Earl Crabtree.
And he went back to 6 straight away. A Hull player deliberately went for the football. Lalessi in and out. raised the arm. Whole defence said, well, what's he going to do? I'll tell you what he's going to do. He's going to go right through the gap. They struggled to get through him. Rayner got there. They tried everything to sort it out. And then Hudson took it on. Drew turns. Great combination. Sensational try here. Second effort. That's all you ask from your hooker. Provide the pass, and boy, is he happy. Pressure this one.
Foreman adds the extras a few seconds ago for Huddersfield. Ryan Hudson's try. Foreman's goal. 10-6. Pick a winner if you dare. Griffin. They're keeping it alive. Here's Robbie Paul again. It comes out to Kevin Brown. Oh! Kevin Brown gifts it to Richard Horn. Richard Horn is away! Richard Horn! Oh, he's treading in cement. He gets there in the end. Huddersfield have to go now with what they have got left, and they've got 13 long minutes with nobody to come on as a replacement. Thomas Lee bullets the pass wide. This is Willie Manu. Willie Manu going for the corner, lost the ball. The Rayner touches down. The referee will find out how that ball came free over there.
We've got to have a look at it, but I don't
Willie
think
Manu's nodding. He thinks he scored.
Well, Manu has the ball here. Is it stripped? 2-on-1. I think it is. And I think Rayner goes through to score the try.
Well, if he's got the nod, Rayner, it's his second try.
But you can see Brad Drew was going for it all the time. That's a deliberate 2-on-1. That is play on. And Drew just puts it right in the path of Mr. Rayner, who said, I will have the try. It bobbled a bit, but that's try time.
I wouldn't give it, Steve, if I can contradict you. I think that Manu loses the ball. I know Brad Drew has his hands on the ball, but surely as a defender, you can put your hands around there. Now, if Manu chooses to let go of the ball, release it, or attempt to offload, it then often looks on screen as though the player has stripped it. But I think we've got to give the defender the ability to tackle around the ball.
I think he'll give it. I think Drew deliberately went for the football.
And Steve-O seems to have read it right, because he and Richard Silverwood reading off the same script, the video referee tonight. Rayner gets his second try. It's a bit harsh. Robbie Paul. Robbie Paul.
Looks like Godwin's down.
Snitch gets the ball away. Back to Robbie Paul. No one's tried harder than this fella. That was forward to Jensen, though. And Jensen, Rocket Rod's on his way. Oh, he just stumbled in front of Rayner, and Rayner gets him. And Godwin is in trouble at the other end of the field. Here is Drew. Kicks it behind for Paul Riley.
Great try.
Was he onside? That's the question that Ashley Klein is asking Richard Silverwood to check on.
That's the only reason why it can be not given. I think he's okay. Yep. That'll be given. There'll be TRY. Good combination. Tremendous little kick through by Brad Drew. And Riley, no doubt about the placement. Nowhere near the whitewash. Fully deserved that. They have not thrown the towel in. And the nerves will be tingling in this whole outfit. Confirmation, surely.
Fourth try for Paul Riley over the last 3 games at the end of a 12-year career at the Huddersfield Giants.
Robbie Paul sent it away. Eddie called it as a forward slightly, but full credit to Jensen. He really has got the speed. You can see he tried to sidestep the oncoming Gareth Rayner. But the skill factor here from Brad Drew was superb. The combination with Riley out wide. This is an important kick.
It is indeed. He's missed it, though. 22 points to 10. Paul Riley, though, off to Wakefield. Huddersfield have never, ever won on this ground. Wigan, though, have completed the Super League double over the Black and Whites this year, winning both at the JJB Stadium and here at the KC Stadium. So they will have no inhibitions about coming here, the Cherry and Whites. But maybe they might be going to Huddersfield. Maybe they might be going to Huddersfield. Here's Stephen Wild. Stephen Wild. What an effort. What a track back also, by the way, by Rayner. Lalisi is the dummy half.
We've got to get it out wide.
This is Hudson. Hudson to Drew. Drew stabs the kick in. Brown. Brown will score. Brown will score for Huddersfield.
Is he onside?
He's given it. Try's given. Oh, we're not in for another one, are we? We're not in for another last-minute drama, are we? Kevin Brown, Huddersfield are doing a Wigan.
Tremendous break by Wild. Stephen Wild out wide. He just threw the dummy and went. And the winger was struggling. They just got back in time, but they always had the numbers. And just when you thought, or would have expected, that they spring the ball out wide, the engineer put the ball through. Surprised me that he did not go to the screen on that one.
Well, Thorman, if he kicks us this, we're back to a 6-point ball game. We are back to a 6-point ball game. 6 points the gap. Here is Radford. Oh, he offloads to Matutoni. That was risky. Matutoni comes back this way.
He's going to run behind his own sticks here.
They're counting down. They won't have time to play this ball. It's all over. Hull will play Wigan here next Saturday. Peter Sharp knows that they sailed so close to the win. It's the end of the line for John Sharp in 2007. What an effort from the Huddersfield Giants.
We looked a little bit, I described it initially as wet behind the ears. All started really well and got out the blocks extremely well, and probably had an influence in how we started the game, but once we dipped our toe in the bath and realised that it wasn't as hot as what we'd imagined, we started to relax a little bit, probably because we were behind as well, but we never stopped fighting and got right back into the game, and openly said afterwards, another minute, another 2 minutes, we may well have won the game. We were that close and finishing that strong, and probably the whole game itself is a mirror image of the season. Starting strong and making mistakes, but still having belief. And then the second half, we were super, got right back into it, and ultimately finished really strong, but ran out of time.
That was the most disappointing thing. It felt like a bit of an anticlimax, and the performance wasn't good, and that showed with the end result. I don't think Hull were particularly good that night either. Which is even more disappointing.
Some people say it was nerves. It was just a slippy ball. Them conditions, I think all the players would agree that we underperformed.
You look at who Hull played the week after. They played Wigan, and we know what we can do to Wigan. So you start thinking about these things. Your mind starts taking over, and you just think, what could have been. But you haven't got to be like that, because at the end of the day, it's been probably the most successful season the Giants have ever had, or definitely the most successful season the Giants have had in Super League.
And I really shouldn't be sat here talking to you at this stage. I should be getting my team ready for another playoff game. That's how the boys feel as well.
It's a shame, but let's not take anything away from the season we've had. It really has been a first-class season, a memorable season, and one which again builds on what we've done before, the Challenge Cup final last year, and I believe is going to enable us to go from strength to strength.
It's been a brilliant year, the most rewarding year by far in certainly my coaching career. Just finding things out about myself and the boys finding things out about each other, and ultimately galvanising as a team and becoming in a really strong and formidable unit that die for one another, and that's what makes me really proud.
As always, the end of the season saw the end of some distinguished Giants' careers. Amongst those to move to pastures new, Paul Riley, Brad Drew, Chris Nero and Robbie Paul. All had played a major part in making 2007 the club's best since its return to the top flight.
Well, it's part and parcel of the game, the contract system, and as a coach you give your players everything, and there's a special bond there that I think it's born out of trusting each other and working, and probably a love for one another. And there's a time comes, and it's always a tough time when it's time to call it a day and move on. And got 4 players who have been super for us. I know Paul Riley has had, 11 years at the Giants and been a great player for this club for a long time. Chris Nero's been here from day one, from when I first came here. He joined us the year that I joined, and he came from the NRL and played just half a dozen games, and I think he's a much better player now than he was when he first arrived, and I'm sure he's going to have a really good future. Brad Drew again, who has had a big influence on how this team's played, and Robbie Paul as well, who two stalwarts really coming to the back end of their careers, who have been really influential in how this club's progressed.
The last 3 years I've been here, when I came back, we've improved, we've been more consistent, we've achieved things, and I genuinely believe that the squad is going to be even stronger next year. I'm really looking forward to seeing the new boys back in training, like Luke Robinson and David Hodgson. Good young British players, which I think is very important. Because we've let some good players go. I'm not going to deny that, but I think the blokes that we've signed can definitely be even better for us.
If you're playing at any team, you're good friends with the people that you're working day in day out with. So it's going to be sad seeing Paul Riley and Chris Nero, and there's a few going. There's Robbie Paul and Brad Drew and Matt Gardner. So there's a few people going, which is, like, in any walk of life, it's sad not to be seeing them day in day out. But you know that you've met some good friends, and they'll be friends for life.
When you see blokes signing from other clubs, they're sort of heading into the unknown a little bit. But the blokes that have re-signed, they already know what it's like to be at this club, and that's even better in a way, because they know what they're expecting, they know what's expected of them.
The key is that over the last 3 years of recruitment, there's been big numbers leaving and big numbers coming in, and I think we've been having 7 and 8 leave and the same number arriving for the last 3 years, and with that I think there's at times a bit of instability in there early on. I think maybe we felt that early on this year with the first 7 games and the team getting bedded in. This year, the 4 that are leaving, we've direct replacements for them. We're only changing 4 guys, but the 4 guys that are coming in are top-notch players. Luke Robinson, who's 23 years old, who'll replace Brad Drew, and George Gattis, who's a super player and he's going to have a great year next year. I know he's probably not so well known in this country, but give him 12 months' time, he's going to be a super player for us. We're really excited about having George on board. Paul Fatawera, who by the time he joins the Giants, if he plays for the Kiwis this year, could be a 15 Test cap New Zealand international centre. He'll replace Chris Nero, and Dave Hodgson, a Great Britain international, will replace Paul Riley. So there's direct replacements for the people that are leaving. There's some obvious signs of why they're leaving, and some not so obvious, but the people that are coming in are top-notch players who are international players, are on the verge of.
I believe we are building something very special here for the Huddersfield Giants, and what's very important to me is that we continue that process. The ups and downs of this year certainly tried and tested everyone, but there's an old saying which is what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and I'm absolutely certain that as a club we are all stronger for the experiences that we went through this year.
I'm already looking forward to it. It's going to be another good year, I think. We've built on the success we had last year for this season that we've just had, and there's no reason why we can't build on that and become one of the top sides that hopefully will make the playoffs year in, year out.
I know Robbie Paul said, bring your mum, bring your dad, bring your kid, bring your brother, bring your cat, bring your dog last year, wasn't it? But I genuinely believe that we're going to be even better this year.
Next year, just turn up again. We want more. We want to go to the finals. So just keep turning up.
It makes a difference. It makes a difference to the team on the field. It makes a difference financially, and we really couldn't do it without you.
The place is just vibrant, and the place is growing, and the fans are enjoying the football and getting behind a really good team.
Tremendous times we've had, tremendous times ahead.